Hello, sociologists. This is the last lecture that you are required to watch for week 6. And we are jumping back to chapter 3 with this particular lecture also. The previous one was about Charles Horton Cooley and the looking glass self. You'll find that in chapter 3. Also, we began this week in chapter 4 because we're talking about social structure, the components of social structure, statuses and roles, social groups, social institutions, but also socialization, okay? And so chapter 3 is all about socialization, and this topic, George Herbert Mead and role-taking, significant others, generalized others, is part of the socialization chapter. Now, I waited until now to discuss this rather than in week 4 because I wanted you to have an understanding of what the term role means when we discuss George Herbert Mead's theories. Okay, so this is an idea about childhood development and the socialization process early on in life. And George Herbert Mead observed that children during their developmental years in youth go through a variety of stages where they take on the roles of those around them during their play so that they prepare for the requirements that their status, their future statuses and roles are going to place on them as they progress through life. So if a child is playing house, playing school, playing doctor. Sorry, my cat is rocking my camera there for a second. If a child is playing house, doctor, school, what are some of the other things that they play? Cops and robbers, those kinds of things. These activities George Herbert Mead talked about as being role-taking activities, which are integral to a child's socialization process and the development of self-concept because they act out, literally act out, using Irving Goffman's words regarding the dramaturgical analysis. They literally act out what they see at their point in life as the requirements that are going to be necessary for them to fulfill the role that they are playing in their make-believe. So there are some key terms that you need to review in George Herbert Mead, and I see them being connected, closely connected, I think, to the way that Jean Piaget, the psychologist who gave us the cognitive development theory, I see them being closely connected to those ideas. Because significant others, according to George Herbert Mead, these are our caregivers who are immediately responsible for us in our very, very young stages. They respond to the needs like the sensory motor stage that Jean Piaget talked about. The significant others are in our early stages in life where we are communicating about those essential needs that we have, the sensory motor stuff. There goes Pudgy again. Sorry. Okay, so significant others would be your caregivers, the daycare workers, your mom, your dad, your elder siblings, the people who contribute to your immediate care. And early on in life, those are the roles that you're going to take or you're going to anticipate during your socialization process. And they will teach you, essentially, those parts that you are going to be expected to play later on in your life. However, Mead acknowledges that as we progress and we start to see the world as a bigger place, and Freud would have talked about the development of the superego, where we see ourselves in relationship to a larger society. Generalized others is this concept that Mead discussed, having to do with that very thing. We don't just see ourselves in relationship to those who are an immediate part of our social world, but as we age, we begin to see ourselves in relationship to our subcultural group, or to our national group, or to some kind of heritage, like you can go to Ancestry.com and find out where your roots are, to have some kind of connection to this larger social grouping. So, have a look at the connection that George Herbert Mead's writing, and he did this at the same, like 70, 80 years ago. I mean, he did this at the same time that Charles Horton Cooley was alive and talked about role taking. So this was it's over 100 years ago. It was about 60 or 80 years prior to Irving Goffman's writing when George Herbert Mead came up with this theory after he made observations, multiple microscale observations across the decades to determine that these actions that we make in childhood prepare us. He even went so far as to say we have a preparatory stage, a play stage where we do this role taking, and then a game stage where there are stakes and consequences associated with our individual actions that have more significance in our lives than just the issues in the play stage or the preparatory stages early on in our lives. So refer to chapter 3 for more information about this. There are some very good tutorial videos on YouTube besides this one that you can look at, or go to sociology.com. But this concludes our week 6 topics, and you will be getting project 2 from me very quickly. You will have that to be working on during week 6 also, so that we're hopefully finished up with all that before midterm tests arrive in week 7 sometime. It's coming up quickly. You'll have to look at the schedule that's posted in Blackboard. Thank you for your time. I'm sorry about Pudgy needing my attention during the lecture. I'll see you next time. Have a good week.